At what point do you, I feel like going to Matt's point about this is not a linear process as far as gaining weight. It's not a linear, training is not linear also. At some point, otherwise we would all be benching.
We'd be machines.
Yeah, we'd be benching 1,000 pounds for 10, At what point do you yourself, are you going to get away from the logbook and kind of convert over to, I wouldn't say more of what I'm doing, but it's similar to more of what I'm doing, because are you just going to know when you're maxed out strength-wise or what?
That's a little bit of a difficult question, but I'll give you the best answer I can.
Yeah.
So as far as logbooking goes in the long term, there's going to be a point where some certain exercises are pushing the load barrier that is just no longer making sense.
Yeah.
Which I don't believe I'm anywhere near yet. So wait until I fill a bar on something and then I'll tell you if I think that's enough. Okay. Or I'll just get a new custom bar that we talked about actually, so I can lift more weight.
Yeah.
But for the logbook is the purpose of trying to standardize everything and have a solid target to hit all the time. I don't think that ever goes out of style for you if you actually continue to look at the process of doing training well the whole time leading up to it. Mm-hmm. So being at the point that you are, like, you're kind of propositioning this question to me as what happens when I can't really continue to utilize the logbook as the standard for what I can keep on making progressions on, and I have to shift to more, your style of just doing what I know can work, limiting risk a little bit more strictly, and then just trying to hit whatever effort markers I can make.
Yeah.
That is still going to be a part of it, and as I get further on into training, and just like everybody else, you get to a point where your options laterally will start to restrict a little bit, because there's only going to be so many things you can continue to do well.
Yeah.
But as long as you're addressing all the things that would limit you in the future from doing all those things well, if you're taking care of them all the time, all the way leading up, you never run into the problem where you have so few options to work with that you have to think about just what feels good today. And then just going with just what feels good today. Because you've been diligent all the way up through to make sure that the progressions you've made have been logical enough. You've been able to solidify those gains over time. And then all the things that go into you being able to do the movement patterns well have also been dealt with every step of the way, so you never lose the capacity for you to continue to do the things that you would have done originally. And if that's still there, I don't really think there's a real hard stop on what you can continue to progress on, because we have a lot of methods. We have intensity techniques of multiple kinds. We have load in itself. We have time, so you can lengthen a set just by how much time you do in each phase. Load, like, there's so many progressive methods that you could continue to log all of those as objective measures for forever.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that makes sense. One more thing I want to say before we're done with this one is we're thinking as men that are trying to get as big as humanly possible.
Yeah.
But for her, like, something that she's going to have to do is you're probably going to at some point, you need to not grow anymore.
Yeah.
Are you already thinking about changing anything, or are you not there yet?
I've gotten some questions about, like, how is my training going to change with Janet being Miss Bikini Olympia now, and am I going to scale anything back? And what I've been doing is pushing myself and trying to beat my logbook continuously has been what has brought me my success in winning the overall nationals, and it's what I continue to plan to do, especially with my feedback being to come in the same, keep doing what you're doing, don't change a thing. So I'm not going to change a thing. And I think a lot of these people who are amateurs or looking at amateurs who have just turned pro, they expect you to be able to get up on the pro stage and fit right in. And in the past, what I've seen, the girls who turn pro and they hop on a pro stage right away, they either win the whole thing or they're in last call out because they don't belong up there just yet, which is fine. There's growing room to do there. So I'm curious to see where my continuous efforts executing this same style of training and continuing to do what I do, where that gets me up there, because I do plan to be in the first call out, and I do think I fit in there with the muscle that I have and how I look, because the girls who are seasoned pros who have been doing this for a long time are a lot more muscular typically than the girls just turning pro freshly.
I think for Nadia specifically, and this is much more broad than her, you can't chase a champion's look and try to replicate it, because then you're going to be leaving the best version of yourself out. Sean Clarita is a great example of that. If he was always trying to make himself look like the current 212 champion, he would have failed because that wasn't in the cards for him. You know, so he'd made the best version of himself. Same thing with Nadia. I do think there's going to come a point, and it's my responsibility. We have to be responsible within her programming as a whole. We have to be, you know, responsible within performance-enhancing supplements that we use with her, because she can, with her genetic potential, very easily outgrow the division. You know, so it's about, you know, putting things in phases properly, and then we're going to get to this more on the mental aspect with her too, about changes we made in training due to mental capacity or hurdles right now. I think that was a great question, because it is different for her, because if she just went balls to the wall training, you know, trying to beat a logbook constantly, at a certain point her physique would outgrow the division, and that's not what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, as for right now, what I have been doing has been working, and I mean, it's not like I've had the issue in the past where I've ever been told I'm too big or too muscular, and I really don't think I am. I still think I have room to grow, especially in the professional league, for sure, because I think people underestimate the muscularity of the good pros, because some of them are not as skinny and lanky looking. They are rather muscular, and while that's the look I prefer, I think that was the look that was continuously winning during the year, and not what I saw win at the Olympia.
I was just going to say that
curious.
bikini's tricky, because you kind of don't know. You kind of just have to bring what you think is your best, and then hope that that's what they want that day.
Yeah, my best is not going to be this person's best, and it's not going to be this person's best, and all the things we did to get to our personal best are not going to be the same thing.
No.
So I think with wellness too, they're trying to create a fine line between what's too muscular, what's too bottom heavy, what's not big enough. Like they're trying to kind of just create that line, that fine line between who belongs where, and trying to see where people fit in.
I feel like wellness, they're trying to kind of standardize a look. Bikini, maybe they're going to allow you guys to not all try to look the same.
Yeah.
You know, you guys can all bring your own look now, and they can sort it out.
Yeah, and I think that's what I like too, is that little bit of flexibility. It's not like, because a lot of the wellness girls that you see winning look generally similar.
Yes.
In their structure in terms of that, but the girls winning the bikini shows, they're all a little bit different.
Yeah.
I mean, I compare myself to the girls who won overalls at the other national shows during the year. None of us look the same.
Right. Yeah.
None of us look the same.
Yeah.
And I think we're all going to play out differently on the professional stage too. So, I mean, I think I'm just going to continue doing what we have planned to do and not change anything, because it doesn't need to be changed right now. Now, granted, I get up on stage in however many months, and they say, you know, maybe less of this, or whatever they say. We just, you know, just adjust
and
our
that's
sales
when Matt's going to
accordingly.
look. That's when Matt's going to look at all of the different, because training isn't obviously the only variable that you can change. There may be a lot of other things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm crazy strong either. Like I don't have an easy time getting PRs. Like it takes me a lot to progress in terms of being the logbook.
Yeah.
Like I struggle to progress a lot of times. So it's not like I'm like you, who I can just like go and smash my training and get continuous like progression in terms of how much weight I have in the bar, or it's very minuscule things. Not saying that if you're not making that kind of progress, it's not good progress, because I'd still consider my progress good progress for me. But it might just be like another 2 reps, or you know, it's something as small as that. But I'm not someone, I think, who's going to have. It's not going to be easy for me to outgrow the division, I don't think. But I can definitely see if it's something that went without being watched, it might be able to happen.
Sure.
But bikini is where my heart is. I think figure is gorgeous. Wellness isn't for me, but that's not a conversation that needs to happen right now, because that's not where I'm at.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that was a really good question, because I have been asked, like, what are you doing differently now that Janet's won?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I don't need to. So we'll just see where my best lands me and go from there.
Yeah.